we've got Joe Carnahan in the house. Joe Carnahan, who's a writer-director of movies like The Gray, Smoking Aces, Narc. It just keeps going, dude. It just keeps going. I've seen all your movies. Not only have I seen all your movies, read all the scripts.
The scripts.
And that's our time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, man. We like to go out on a high.
Joe, you're a huge fight fan as well. He's a fan of all the. You're a fan of all things masculine.
Yes, I think so. I don't know about all things. I enjoy me some UFC. I enjoy it more because I think it's overtaken boxing. Anybody that thinks that MMA hasn't overtaken boxing is nuts. I mean, I can't. If you told me, the kid just won a couple weeks back, but if you told me there'd be a time in my life where I couldn't name the WBC heavyweight champion, I'd say you're nuts. And I didn't know who the hell was fighting, but I can tell you Cain Velasquez is, you know what I mean? It's I think it's completely supplanted, and I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, the Bob Arums in the sport, the Don Kings in the sport. They've, I think, destroyed boxing.
But how did Bob Arum, someone like that, destroy boxing? Because you hear about him getting in the way of this Pacquiao.
Well, you got to remember, Bob Arum started with Muhammad Ali. Yeah. He's had Pacquiao. He's had everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of times when Pacquiao would fight certain people, Bob Arum managed both of them.
It's like Don King.
He's like Don King. I mean, so he's walking away the winner. Right. Oscar De La Hoya, any of those guys.
Well, because De La Hoya said that Bob Arum is killing boxing.
He's killing boxing because I think there's a greed factor that my buddies who come out of that world. Ben Bray, stunt coordinator, now just directed an episode of State of Affairs. He came out of that. I mean, his brother John Bray was. He and De La Hoya out of the South Bay were like the guys coming. Like he won the. I mean, Bray's got an amazing story, but he had said like, listen, when you see the kind of deals that Bob Arum and driving like guys like Lou Duva get driven out, it's like it's so money based. It's so insane the level of greed. It's like. It's crippled it.
Well, what's weird to me is how much money does he need? Think how much money he's making.
I think it's a mindset, right?
Right.
It's like a greed mindset. What he does. It's like a vacuum cleaner. Like he got there. I'll tell you a story. There's a guy I knew who's a lawyer, and he made a fortune representing people who own houses in Malibu because they have epic fights over 6 inches of sand.
Sure.
And I said, who cares about 6 inches of sand? He said, they do. I said, why? He said, why do you think they got there in the first place?
Dude. Why are they billionaires?
With Bob
Why can
Arum,
they afford a house in the colony?
Yeah. With Bob Arum, what's weird is, so he managed Timothy Bradley, and he had Pacquiao, and Pacquiao said before that Bradley fight, this might be my last one. He goes out there and beats the brakes off Bradley and loses in that very suspect decision. So everyone thinks Bob Arum paid the judges because Pacquiao's not going to go out losing like that.
Yeah.
So then and Pacquiao's his moneymaker. So then Pacquiao loses that fight. Of course he's coming back.
Right.
So it's very.
I mean,
I heard the judge of that fight was a woman who had also judged another very controversial fight, and because so many people lost money, including a lot of Russians, a lot of like those kind of sketchy. She had to go into hiding.
Yeah. She retired. Yeah. She resigned.
And they couldn't find her.
I heard she lives in Malibu now.
She's out of the colony. Yeah. She was one bitching over that 6 inches of sand.
Yeah, that's her.
No, but I think, listen, I think it's also, I mean, listen, and I think going back to my point about, I think what the MMA has done and what the UFC has done is it's definitive. There's very rarely you watch a fight. I think the first time, I remember that Shogun Machida fight was the first time I thought that was a bullshit decision. Yeah. And that's after watching UFC for years.
Yes.
True. Now, I'm not to say, and you guys, like present company excluded because we can't go into it, there's an oligarchy in the UFC as well. I mean, there's also guys, you know this, Brendan, guys come in to sign 10-fight contracts for $3 grand, $4 grand, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a money game. Man.
Well, they both have their issues, but the reason the UFC's kind of overtaken boxing as a whole, if Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight, that's going to destroy any event the UFC's ever going to put on. Not even close.
Absolutely.
However,
that's the fight of the century.
Overall, the UFC does beat boxing on an annual basis. But the reason is because the UFC's marketing. They're marketing guys.
Brilliant.
People know who's fighting. Boxing, like you said, you don't know who the heavyweight champ is.
Don't know who it is. I know the middleweights.
You know Vladimir Klitschko.
You know Klitschko. I know the Klitschkos would bored the shit out of the heavyweight division.
Right. Also, none of them are marketable. That's why Manny. People love Manny because he's so marketable. He's a nice guy.
Right.
But how can you market Floyd Mayweather?
But I see strikers in UFC like big guy, like a guy like Shaw. We told Rampage this. It's like, dude, you got great stand up. Don't go back in UFC. You should be a heavyweight. You should be a heavyweight boxer. Man.
You probably get killed,
could go in minute maybe, but you could go in there and I think you can go in there and compete. It's like it's a different mindset.
Well, I think that the reason the UFC is not just marketing. I think that the reason MMA kind of took over boxing is more primordial. I mean, what Rogan one time said, this is as close as you get to watching two men try to kill each other with their bare hands.
Yeah.
That goes back to our roots.
Sure.
And then as you watch more, you realize how much technique there is.
Right.
And something about, boxing is such it feels so much like this sort of orthodox, very pure sport.
You're right, yeah.
Whereas the UFC is, when you really start to watch it and you get involved in it, at first, it's really interesting to watch. My brother-in-law thought, wow, this is really barbaric, and I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Then he got addicted because he started to look at it with different eyes.
Right.
When you've got to know how to kick and punch and grapple and throw and all those things, it just requires
and BJJ,
everything.
and you got to I remember watching. It's so funny because it's the same. Watch that Son and Anderson Silva fight, and Anderson Silva 4.5 rounds. That fight is on his ass, and he's going out. Triangle, fight over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it has that ability
to surprise
to just turn on a dime, and a guy that you think is completely out on his feet suddenly recovers.
Yeah, no doubt. This sport is crazy. How about Anderson Silva test positive for steroids?
Oh, that's right.
How about that?
I like that.
Well,
I like that you had.
Won't get yapping about the history.
I like
of
that
MMA.
you have the. I think you have the two polls. You get Diaz test positive for weed, and Anderson Silva test positive for. There's a shocker.
But with,
you smoke marijuana?
Right? What? But with Diaz, it's like. Yeah, we kind of expected it. When it came out, I was like, whatever. You were with me, I think, when I read the Anderson Silva game busted. I literally went, oh, crazy, Anderson Silva test positive.
Yeah, like
You're
for
like,
an
that's
athlete.
it? I'm like,
for an athlete, it's like,
See,
whatever.
the thing is, here's the thing. I think I've like mixed emotions on it because it's like, listen, I blew my knee out playing football, not even playing like high school, college, which I played, but like a jerk off pickup game, and I blew my ACL out and my MCL, everything's gone. Oh. So I can only imagine what it's like to shatter your tibia and everything else, and that the other thing was wrapping around Weidman's leg, that kid.
Oh, God.
How the hell how he ever really feels good about throwing that leg out there again? And isn't there something? Fundamentally kind of subliminal. It's always there, pervasive, saying, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt."
Yeah.
I didn't see the fight, so I can't comment on.
I've seen Brennan train. I've seen like what they put themselves through, and when you get to be 39 and you're trying to do that, things start to pop and break. You pushing your body to that level, and so with Brennan, like kind of goes like somebody's like, "Wow, Anderson Silva took steroids," and Brennan's like, "You civilians, you just
Right, of course,
crack me
dude.
up."
That's what I told Evan the Beard. It hurt his feelings.
Of
He
course.
put crazy. Anderson Silva tested positive.
Well, it's like Jones tested positive for cocaine. It's like, does part of me say, should that have been flagged before he fought? That he was on. Is this the Aaron Pryor thing? Where we spell Arguello and it's like, hey, take this water bottle, not that one.
This is the issue. This is the huge issue. Is he tested positive long before he fought? So he tested positive for 2 different steroids before he fought. The results.
Is this Jones or
this is Anderson Silva?
Okay, got it.
And then the results come after. And now people are like, oh, well, that's the way it works. Yeah, he did test positive, but the UFC didn't know till after. I don't know, man.
Careful, brother.
I know. Believe me, I get it. This is my
tone on a tightrope right now, man.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, though, is okay, the results take whatever, a month to get back, which is ridiculous. They take a month to get back. Let's test them 30 days earlier than that so we have the results prior to that. He's not doing just a 6-week camp.
Dude,
guarantee
you think Brock Lesnar was coming to the
doing 8 weeks.
UFC and wasn't roided out of his skull?
Excuse me, Joe.
Come on.
How dare you?
How dare you, sir? Brock Lesnar?
But I mean,
That's
I think
that
but that's-
blonde
it's like,
silverback?
dude, it's like goes to something like Lance Armstrong, right? If Lance had just said, instead of denying, because that Gibney documentary literally buries that guy. I mean,
Great documentary.
It's a fantastic fucking documentary. But when he's sitting there throwing the other guys under the bus, you know what I would have said? It's just like when Bill Clinton got caught with Michael Lewinsky. It's like, I'm the president of the United States. What I want to do, I do. Next question, right?
Yeah,
I had
agree.
ball cancer.
I agree.
I had a 20% chance to live.
I
Fuck
agree.
off.
I
You really
agree.
think that those steroids help me climb the Alps that much better than the next guy?
Everybody else is doing it. At least-
By the way, everybody else is
come
blood
clean,
doping. And come on,
clean,
man.
and
Well-
we'll come clean and we'll forgive you. When
Anderson
you throw other
Silva's
people under
denying
the
it.
bus,
Yeah.
Anderson Silva's denying it. He's going, no, I want another test.
Oh,
that's
stop,
not the way
dude.
to go.
Listen,
That's
we're
not the way to
conditioned.
go.
We're conditioned to know you're full of shit as soon as that leaves your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, I want another. Come on, man. Just say, I did it.
By the way, you're pretty thick, and you're in the game when it comes to Hollywood. You're top brass. I know there are a lot of actors that I mean, there's a rumor that some actors are actually using steroids.
Steroids? What you mean? Will Smith put on 40 pounds of muscle for Ali?
Don't say anything about Will Smith. I'll come at you.
No, I
take
love
it back.
Will Smith.
Take it back.
I
right
love
now.
Will Smith.
Take it back.
I love
bro.
Will Smith.
Take it back. Right. Take it. Right. I don't give a shit. If you're a heavyweight, I will.
He's going. They're going.
Sorry, man, guys.
No, dude. I
have
think
you.
it's like these are. I mean, it happens. I just would rather there's this full disclosure and people just don't. It's like, listen, it's like Charlie Sheen's been caught with hookers and beating people up, and everybody goes, "That's Charlie Sheen." Exactly. Bill Cosby, on the other hand, elevated to the heights of, like, he's being critical of other people. Pull your pants up, learn the English language. Meanwhile, you're doping and raping women.
You're a rapist.
You're a fucking
By the way,
rapist.
and that's the one thing.
scumbag.
That's the one thing. But we won't forgive you. You can't be like. There are two things you can't be like. You can't come up to people and go, "Guys, listen. I just want to be honest, and I believe in being honest. A rape."
Yeah. Or we're not gonna forget that.
It's like you're picking up a chick like, "Sweetheart, listen, I'm gonna dose you and rape you." Is that
Yeah.
cool?
Is
You
that-
all right with that?
I'm just gonna give you a
clears the
heads
room.
up.
Yeah, that's gonna give. This is how I do me.
I'm
right?
a nice
I
guy,
rape
so I'm gonna
women
give
when
you
they're
a-
unconscious.
This is how I do me. Dude, that'll clear a room.
the thing is,
and I kick puppies and I kill people.
But you know
Those
what?
are-
The greatest hypocrites will not outlive their hypocrisy. They just won't, man. It'll catch you.
I agree.
It'll catch you in the end. So better, like, when you're busted, just be fucking busted, man.
This is what we talk
Hands on
about.
the-
We always
hands
talk about.
flat.
What do you mean we talk about this?
No, in other words, be authentic. Don't, like, my friends know everything about me.
Dude, so do
man.
mine.
You know?
I mean, brother, let me tell you something. My buddies could bury me.
Yeah, I think you guys
know?
are missing it a little bit here. When you're on steroids and you're competing in professional sports, I don't know, and you get.
I'm just saying if you get caught. I'm just saying if you get caught and the test is there, it's better to kind of face the music, steer into it, as opposed to deny, and then get found out anyway.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking
Because I think, like, the idea that baseball would have a problem with the steroid era. Well, let's face it, the steroid era saved baseball's ass. They were
By
on
far,
their way
yes.
out. 94, they canceled that season. I was a big baseball fan. I was like, I'm done with this sport, man. I'm done. If they didn't have Sosa McGuire jacking, balls out of Camden every 5 seconds, like
That's interesting.
that race put them back in the running. Wow. That home run race, and then Bonds breaking it, and then they're like, shame on you, and they do this tisk bullshit. No, man.
And none of them are going in the Hall of Fame. When
No.
all of them should
I
be
know,
in the
all
Hall
of
of
them
Fame.
should be. It's like, I
Because
love
the
that
pitchers throwing the ball were on steroids. Hate to tell you guys.
It's like
the
Brady,
guys throwing them the ball
Brady
is on
Anderson
steroids.
was the leadoff man for the Baltimore Orioles. He went from having 19 home runs one year to 51 the next year. Nobody went, that's odd.
Yeah.
Were you training in the offseason?
So then here's the question. So as technology grows, as you're able to start gene doping, you start do all these things, what's it say about competition?
Bro, let it go. I say let it rip. I say I want a couple of fucking behemoths in there that just shredded to shit.
400-pound
And I don't care.
preternaturally
By the way,
fast.
Exactly. If it comes down to the science, to better living through chemistry, and it's like, and all, knock yourself out, man. I mean, like,
We are meshing with
listen,
machine and technology anyway,
we are,
right?
and I think they talk about, like, listen, it's like people are like, they talk about, like, the old times, like Babe Ruth was, Babe Ruth is the greatest white guy that could hit a 70-mile-an-hour fastball. He was in that time.
Right.
You put Babe Ruth in a lineup right now, Babe Ruth's not even going to be John Kruk.
You think so? Do you think so?
I don't think. I think we have elevated these guys to these kind of mythic proportions, and it's simply this. It's like evolution. It's like, a guy from Jack Dempsey is not going to be able to get in the ring with Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen, man.
Right.
Well, that's evolution. That's the times. That's like saying, O.J. Simpson, a bad example, but O.J. Simpson wouldn't be a great running back in today's
You don't think
game.
so?
I don't think
No.
so. No,
They're just too big, too fast now, but it's evolution.
But then you look
It's
at
just
would
part of
Eric
the sport.
Dickerson still be successful? Because Eric Dickerson was a gazelle and he was fat. Would Jim Brown be as good because he was or he's
Probably
facing-
because they would have been training.
But here's the thing: when
their
Terrell Suggs is
mindset.
big as
That's what I'm
he is,
saying, evolution.
Yeah.
With the science and training and supplements, it's tough to say.
Yeah.
I just think it's like, again, I think the era. I think if you're going to embrace it, because guys are going to look for the advantage anyway. Whether you're
People don't want to see
deflating
that
balls
though.
or
People don't want
whatever.
to see that though.
They don't wanna see it. It's
America
like-
doesn't want. The world doesn't want to see that. Where you see Anderson Silva kick Vitor in the face. I want to assume Anderson Silva is not on a crazy amount of steroids when he kicked Vitor in the face.
'cause
I want to
Anderson
assume
doesn't
he's.
doesn't
I want
look
to
like he's
assume
on a
he's
crazy amount of
different than the
steroids.
rest.
But
of
I
us.
think it's less about the actual use of steroids and more about the idea that we want purity of competition. So, and we have this weird mythology in our head. And what's really interesting about that is we go, well, we want everybody to be natural. The problem is nature's not equal and nature's not fair. And some dudes, as we all know, I mean, anybody who did sports, is acutely aware that some people just have more tools, faster twitch,
Sure.
higher ratio of testosterone, thicker bones, whatever it might be.
Right.
And So in that sense, like I think I can't remember who the coach was, but Maurice Green's coach, who one of the fastest men in the world at one point,
tested positive for steroids.
Yeah, and he was saying he used 2 runners as an example. And I think Maurice Green had like his testosterone levels, natural testosterone levels, way higher than another guy's before they got onto steroids. And he goes, so you tell me, this guy's bringing his testosterone levels up to where Maurice Green's are. So you tell me what's fair now. So nature's not fair. Nature's not fair.
No, well, listen, and what people don't realize, so that guy should be able to take steroids to get to what nature gave Maurice Green?
You know, I know you don't take steroids, and one of the things you talked about was the fact that you fought a lot of guys who did test positive.
I could tell you every guy I fought who was on steroids.
Right.
I could make a list right now.
Right.
Now, how do you feel about
I'd probably
that,
get fired.
Do you say
how do I honestly feel? This is how I feel about the UFC, and it is what it is. I think nice guys finish last.
Right.
I think nice guys finish last. I think, listen, I would love to hear an argument why I shouldn't do steroids. I would love to hear a great argument.
Oh, dude, I don't think you could.
Give me one.
Let's
Let's say I take steroids and test positive, and I'm a young kid, and a kid goes, Dad, why shouldn't I take steroids? And he's getting to the UFC. Can I say, well, you never be world champ? No, that's not true. Anderson Silva's world champ. Well, you never fight for a title. That's not true. Chael Sonnen test positive, fought for a title. Well, you never be the Ultimate Fighter coach. No.
I'll do you well.
No, hold on, let me finish. Yep. Nope. Chael Sonnen, Anderson Silva, both. Well, you never be a main event. No, not true. And Alistair Overeem's a main event. Bigfoot Silva's a main event. Well, listen, you might get fired. No, not really. Guys get tested.
What if he says it's cheating?
If it's cheating, well, everyone else is doing it, and they're getting rewarded for it.
But brother, don't you? But don't. Then don't.
I mean,
you feel
how do you play it?
But then it just comes. Listen, then it comes down to It's like, brother, I'm gonna like a guy who won't pick up a glass of scotch, and a guy who gets hammered and goes and drives home drunk. I'm not gonna do what that guy's doing. I'm not gonna do, and if it means I'm at a loss or it means I'm whatever.
What if that guy drank that scotch, drove home, and got $1 million? And if you drank that glass of scotch, drove home, you get $1 million. Would you drink that scotch?
No,
somebody on the way
I was going to say that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is
like,
one is unethical because you could hurt somebody. You're in 2 tons of fast moving steel.
It's personal ethics. It's personal morality.
There's personal ethics. Well, in the UFC, so right now I'm on steroids. I punch Bryan in the face. It's going to mess you up. I take a boatload of steroids. I can't even name a steroid. I take a boatload of steroids and I punch you in the face. I might shatter your jaw and cause you forever brain damage. So there's no difference between taking steroids, punch a guy in the face, and jumping in a car drunk.
Well, I can see that argument, but the other thing I can also see is this. You're a baseball player. You're 29 years old. Your bat speed starts to slow down. Oh, and by the way, there are a bunch of rookies coming up. Oh, and by the way, if you just take some Wenstrel and maybe some Deca or whatever it might be.
And by the way, you got a $350,000 a month nut that you got to cover.
This is what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
So right? here you go. You get to play you get to play the game you love more than anything for an extra 8 years, and we'll give you $30 million. Find one person who wouldn't. Oh, and by the way, you'll look more muscular, look better. You'll actually fill your outfit out more. Find me one dude who wouldn't want to play for 8 years for $30 million more at the game they love at the highest level and stand.
It's difficult, man. It's difficult.
And so,
Brendan, if someone said to you came to you right now and said, "Dude, sign this. You're UFC heavyweight champion in 6 months." If
you take steroids,
sign this. Take Winstrol, Deca, whatever the fuck this stuff is. You're you're heavyweight champion in 6 months. Do you say yes? I mean, that's a hell of a Faustian deal, dude.
Hold. Let's see.
You are UFC champ, dude. You shoot up.
Do I test positive though? Does it come out?
It doesn't come out.
Dang, that's tough. I can't answer that.
That's a yes. That's an unconfirmed yes.
That's an unconfirmed yes.
You're right, because you know what it is. That question builds a box around you. If you are doing, listen. If somebody said to me, it's not even a competitive thing. You could. I took HGH for a while. Because my knees are driving me nuts. You know what? It wasn't what I felt. It's what I didn't feel. Right. Suddenly, I'm like, Jesus, I don't feel any. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, and then I realized I just don't want to do it, man. It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It scares me.
It scares you.
Great.
Yeah.
It scares the shit out of me. And I'm not going out and hitting a baseball. I just want to go to a film set and not have my back seize up.
With baseball. Listen, I want to see Barry Bonds jacked on steroids hitting
Me too.
70 homers. I want to see Ben Affleck and Batman roided out of his mind with freaking gills on the side.
Don't say that he takes.
Come on.
Take that
I want to see that. When it comes to combat sports, I don't want to see that.
Right.
Because what you guys don't realize is and we didn't see this. Anderson Silva landed some shots on Nick Diaz. He landed some shots. Those shots are I promise you, are gonna catch up with Nick down the road.
Right.
Now, we don't know how severe those shots were, but I guarantee it's more severe when a guy's on steroids. I guarantee you it is. That's why I fought a guy named LeVar Johnson. At the weigh-in, when he weighed in, I went to Dana. I'm like, that guy's on roids. And they laughed. Everyone's like, come on. Are you kidding me?
He's
the
so
guy is the guy could go win Mr. Olympia, maybe third or fourth right now.
Right.
And I go, dude, he's on steroids. And my team's laughing. Everyone's laughing. I'm not laughing.
You got to fight him.
I got to fight him.
This guy.
So then I fight this guy. I don't stand with him. I take him down over and over and over and over.
He was knocking everybody out in the first round.
Well, no, I had nothing to do with it. I don't care about that. I just kept taking him down because I knew he was jacked on steroids.
Right.
I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of heat for that. Everyone in the company, outside the company, fans, everyone gave me heat for it. Why didn't you stand and bang with him? Well, because I'm all natural and this guy's jacked out of his mind on steroids.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense for
How
me.
much do you think? Bro,
Make
how
it a
much-
level playing field.
How
I'll
much
do whatever
do you think
want.
that hurt? But how much?
You make it a
Brandon, is
level
that-
playing field. I'm fucking Leonard Garcia of the UFC division.
How much do you exactly? How much do you think? Give me a percentage, and I'm gonna say previous fight. Let's just exclude previous fight. Although you may have opinions on that, I have opinions on that. How many guys do you think you fought on a percentage basis have been on steroids? Conservatively,
80%.
Jesus. I mean, listen, that alone. I'm sorry. Let's go. Let's shoot me up.
Yeah.
If I've got to
Strap me to the
strap
gurney.
me to the gurney, shoot me up, man. Like, give me the lethal injection. I don't care. Like, it's like
I've
because
seen how hard he trains too, and you know.
When I saw Trey at Baxter Burn, I've seen you train. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like he busts his ass. It's like that to me. That's infuriating.
Yeah.
That's like feeling like that's infuriating.
You know what's infuriating to me? It's not that I'm not champ. It's not that I've lost some fights or won some big fights. It's more that there's just no reason why anyone shouldn't take steroids. There's just not. The UFC, there's no reason. I need someone give me a legit reason why you would tell a young fighter not to take them.
Right.
I would love to hear a good argument. Well, you're gonna get fined $3,000, man. And you're gonna have to sit out 6 months, maybe 9.
You bring up a really interesting point.
And
in
it's
that
like,
sense, man.
well, yeah, I fight every 6-9 months anyways.
What you're saying is
Right.
basically that you probably aren't going to be able to compete at the highest level without the use of this technology that's out there. And that
I just think it's going to get. Listen, these things get more complex and more clever in the way that they're deployed, in the way that the guys take them, the way that they're absorbed into the muscle tissue. It's like, listen, science continues to outpace. Science continues to kind of like figure out new ways for you to cheat. It's like, and that's the thing. But if everybody's fucking doing it, then you can't call it cheating anymore. You just have to say that's the norm, and now it's just about beating a guy scientifically and through chemistry and understanding your blood type and blood doping and, like you say, gene doping. We can't. What's the baseline going to become?
That's
and
the biggest question.
And that's the thing. It's like, Brandon, you were talking about this. Like, what's the level playing field? I feel like until you acknowledge what everybody's doing at all times, and you create a new baseline, and it's a genetically modified baseline, because the athletes are so ridiculous. And I'm not saying that guys don't bust their ass and train their asses off and are still in the gym and are still in the cage and still doing their thing. But all the other stuff, you're gonna. I mean, our fighters gonna start hiring like physicians and geneticists to come on.
I got one for you. Eva, I got a little fact for you. You ready for this? Someone kept in the Super Bowl kept saying, "Oh, Patriots are cheaters. Patriots are cheaters. The only reason they're in the Super Bowl because they're cheaters."
Oh, bullshit.
You know the number one, and this come from my trainer who told me this, Ben Bruno. So don't hate me if this isn't true, but I'm pretty sure it's true because this guy's a genius. Majored from Columbia. Anyways, he said, "Do you know who was the number one team in the NFL who had the most guys failed drug tests, steroid tests?"
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That doesn't surprise me.
Jeez, that's weird.
Look at
you want to
Look
talk
at Cam
about
Chancellor
deflating
and Sherman.
footballs?
Come on.
Look at Chancellor.
Look at
Are
Cam
you
Chancellor.
fucking kidding
he looks
me?
Like he looks like. I mean, he
How
looks
crazy
like,
is that though?
like a Nubian king. It's like he looks like,
Like
this
a
kind
Nubian
of.
king.
He does, man. It's like it's ridiculous.
Ev, so you want to talk about deflating balls? Well, yeah,
And
that's
by the
great.
way, dude, the Colts came out. One of the Colts wide receivers came out and said, "Listen, Tom Brady could have been throwing bars of soap and they would have fucking beat us in that game. It didn't matter.
doesn't
What
matter.
is it? Come on."
And
man.
by the way, it's a team effort. But one of the things I was thinking about as you said this is I thought to myself, after a while, the best fighter or the best athlete may very well be the guy with the best team of doctors, the best
Right.
team of scientists. But is that any different than the best fighter who has the best team of coaches, the best team Seahawks that has the best coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, strength coaches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So every effort is a team effort.
But you know what happens? But you know what happens? Like, we'll go back to UFC for a moment. When I see Anthony Johnson suddenly start doing the things he's doing, my mind doesn't go to Anthony Johnson must have this great array of new coaches. My mind goes to what's Anthony Johnson doing? What's he putting into himself that's letting him like take Gustafsson out and do? Because I thought that he's down the road.
See, that's a
Rumble
shame.
was down the road.
That's a shame. But a lot of my friends and family are the same way. Like, they see guys doing well and they're like, well, what's he taking that you're not? It's like that breaks my heart because
by the way, I'm not casting any dispersion on Anthony Johnson. I think he's a phenomenal fighter.
You're not the only. Not at all.
You're just using it as an
example.
I'm
using it where your head goes. Where your head goes. Your head goes. Because listen. Rampage is my boy. I love that guy. It's like I wouldn't at his age come back. I don't think it's a good idea to come back in the UFC because if anything, that we know, if we know anything about MMA, how fast it evolves and how 1 minute you're John Fitch and you're a relative fighter and the next minute you're gone. It's like it's
head
that
trauma
quick.
too with his style.
Right, but it's that. But the game laps you. Just like someday, listen, someone's going to reach John Jones. Someone's going to get to John Jones, and they're then there's going to be yet another epoch, yet another
100%.
generation of fighters.
Yeah.
But when I see Anthony Johnson, and listen, I say the same thing about Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler was where the hell did Robbie Lawler come from? He can beat up on Johnny Hendricks. I go, Lawler's doing something, and it's not. And again, it's not to cast aspersion on Lawler. He could be a perfectly clean, wonderful, all natural training, everything. That's where my head goes, and also that's where my head's been conditioned to go.
Yeah,
the shit that's
it's
happened.
more conditioned. That's the media. Well, I used to have a trainer. I fired him, but I used to have a trainer who. He played college football, and he was just an average guy. So anyone who was better at anything than him or looked different than him, he'd go, "Oh, he's on steroids."
Right.
Nah, man. Like anyone, he would. J.J. Watt, yeah, he was a walk-on because my trainer was a walk-on. He goes, he's a walk-on. Now he's just playing in the NFL. Steroids. No, man.
No.
Listen, I say a lot of guys are on steroids, and some of it's true. However, I know some guys who are just naturally jacked, and you can take all. I hate to tell you guys, but you guys can take all the steroids you want. You'd never play professional sports.
No,
it doesn't work like that.
You haven't seen me run sprints?
Yeah,
no.
But
I mean, maybe me. I don't know a little bit.
I did try to race him. He beat me in dress shoes by far.
But I know some guys who like Tim Tebow never touched anything. I don't even know if he uses protein powder. And Tim's jacked.
He's a
big boy.
He's jacked. He's lean as shit. My friend Joe Kloffenstein. If Joe took off his shirt, you'd be like, oh my God, look at this steroid.
I've
head.
never seen anything
Joe's
like it.
6'6", 260 pounds, 5% body fat. He eats Sundays for dinner. I mean, it's just what he does.
Like a blonde Viking.
It's crazy.
I hate him.
When you're around
That's
certain
genetics,
guys,
bro. That's
it's
like
genetics.
that's genetics.
Yeah. There's certain guys out there just and
Listen,
I hate
Herschel Walker never touched a a weight.
Well,
you know?
but because these guys are
Bo
superheroes
Jackson.
and they're different than the rest of the world, people go, "Oh, they're on shit." Nah, man, I hate to tell you, you just have shitty genes.
No, we forgot that there are the legitimate gifted athletes.
Not only that, though, that the sport at the highest level still requires an insane amount of training, technique, dedication. Steroids are not going to get you the belt. You've still got to train.
No, steroids aren't going to get you into the UFC. Steroids
Correct.
aren't going to get you into the NFL. Steroids aren't going to get you a college scholarship.
Yeah.
That's what people are missing.
They'll give you an edge.
Listen, if you think Barry Bonds doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, take as many steroids as he did and go try and hit a fastball.
I agree.
Yeah,
Good
try
luck.
to hit a 99-mile-an-hour
Good
fastball.
luck.
I agree.
Yeah,
Good
it's
luck.
like LT, dude. I don't think LT ever did.
He did a lot of coke.
He did a lot of blow.
Artie Lang was in.
By the way, if you're banging back rails on the sideline, you're going to have a little bit of advantage. You're going to be a little
100%.
quicker. You're going to be a little. You know
Artie
what I
Lang
mean?
was in- Artie
Be a little jacked
Artie
up.
Lang was in rehab with Lawrence Taylor, and Lawrence Taylor goes, I was never not high. I never played football not just wired out of my mind.
that bums me out.
But here's the thing. Listen, Stephen Sondheim said I never wrote a play or a musical without being drunk. Eugene O'Neill wrote The Iceman Cometh. He was bombed out of his mind.
Wow.
These things, listen, there's no question. Even if it's my stupid ass. It's like when I'm writing something, I bang back a couple of scotches. That writing gets really interesting.
Is that true?
Absolutely, man. It gets darker, it gets weirder, and sometimes that's where you want to go. You know, the problem is when the bottle's gone, and now I'm trying to punch out windows. It's like that's when it gets.
But
you know,
I want to
That's when I need the cocaine.
That really
right?
escalated. That really escalated.
There, you know?
But I do want to say this about you, and one of the things that I've read everything you've ever written, and I think you're not a good writer. I think you're a great writer.
That's
and
very
I know
nice,
people
brother.
like Gavin O'Connor, who would just be floored when you guys wrote Pride and Glory, and Gavin would say, you'd go into a room and come out with stuff, and Gavin doesn't give it up much, and Gavin's like, and one of the things when I read Smoking Aces before you made a new movie, and I think I called you.
Love that movie.
Thanks, brother.
And I called
Love
you,
it.
and I could not believe how you were able to. Every character spoke so differently. It was like literally a different language.
Right.
And I remember asking you how you do that, because there's no way, because it's not like you grew up around, criminals and stuff like that, but the way you're able to get into somebody's mindset.
Right.
What do you attribute that to besides imagination? I know you listen to people.
I think you listen to people, man. And I'm a huge people watcher. I like dipping into conversations. And also, man, you'd be blown away what you can find on the internet. You go on YouTube and listen to I'll look up The Game had this, the rapper, The Game had this beef with these kids and some gang, in South Central. So I started looking, and then I find all these YouTube videos, and the language that these guys use is so brilliant and so florid and so unlike anything I've ever heard, man. It's like its own dialect, right?
Yeah.
So you start to crib this stuff, and you start to hear it, and you start to kind of absorb it. And, it's like, and I think a lot of it is that, and a lot of it is just, the mind is a fascinating thing, because sometimes your recall isn't even necessarily your own. Like you know what I mean? It's like it's this weird kind of assimilation of a lot of different things. So I've been very fortunate that it's like my brother. My brother's 6'5". He looks like a former Abercrombie model. He writes the dark, and he lives in Virginia with his 3 little beautiful blonde, my nieces, and his 6-foot beautiful Swedish wife. And he writes the darkest shit. Like when you lift that log, man, the grub worms, underneath are so and I think a lot of it is imagination. A lot of it's just having this. I like to talk with I don't have this thing where we're like, those are not my people.
But
those are not.
So you come up with these movies, let's just say Narc or The Gray or whatever. When you sit down to come up with an idea like that and write it, do you feel like the story already exists and you have to just keep showing up for it to reveal itself to you, or do you have a comprehensive understanding of what it's about?
It's funny because the Narc and The Gray were the 2 longest script processes for me. They were really The Gray, I think I wrote over 4 years, and I would just keep coming back to it. I just keep coming back.
Is that normal?
No. And then Narc was probably,
Narc was a great movie.
Narc was probably 9 months, but it was a lot of it was based on, I had a buddy who was a snitch there's a narcotics cop in Oakland, California named Chip. I'll never forget. I thought, what an interesting name for a narco, Chip.
If you told me his name was Chip, I'd be like, oh, you're a narc.
You're a fucking narc. But my buddy Dom was a confidential informant. He was a CI, and and it was really weird. There was a couple times I sat with them. And it was this very weird. It wasn't like something you'd see in The Departed. It was meeting a Bennigan's and over chicken wings, and they're talking shit about these guys. And it's and I realized, Don's informing on these guys. He's doing it but he's informing them. So a lot of that shit was from my time with him. I mean, we got pulled over on the edge of Berkeley and Oakland by Oakland PD. And my buddy Don was in the car, and he had shot up. He was on heroin, and his girlfriend Dawn was Don, who's probably 90 pounds soaking wet. And I remember watching her disassemble the rig and secret it in an area of her body where they knew she was never going to look, which was right up the old
hoo-ha,
with the needle poking out of the hoo-ha. And I remember being 21 years old. I was a student at San Francisco State and sweating balls, thinking, the guy knows everything. The cop knows everything. We're going to get busted. We're going to get busted. We're going to get busted. And Don being it was the heroin thing. I don't know how he fucking talked his way out of it.
Kept himself real calm.
Super calm. But it was seeing that kind of stuff. And then it just becomes a process of.
Do you interview special forces guys and criminals for?
I had friends. Well, listen, on the A-team, we had a bunch of guys who were all special. All those guys, the guy that taught me how to shoot is a guy named Paul Maurice. And that's not his real name, but he was British SAS.
Oh, I know that guy. I met him.
You know,
you'd never know it either.
Never
big
know.
Guy, but you never know what he was. I watched him
with a shotgun one time. Take a Remington, take a 6-shot shotgun, and he got off. He shot that weapon like you'd shoot a pistol. And the last one he got off, he didn't even have a tactical belt on. He had a shell right here in his jeans. He pulled that up and he racked it and brought it forward so that 2 shots looked like one. It was the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
and when he was done, I was like, "You've killed people."
Where did
you
the inspiration for Smoking Aces come from?
That came from the 15 months I spent on Mission Impossible 3 with Tom Cruise, which was
I heard Tom Cruise is
it was
great
wacky,
guy.
Great guy. No, listen,
guy.
I really
he's
dug
real
him.
down to earth
guy,
Down to earth.
salt of the earth, New Jersey kid. No, it was
Hashtag
listen, man.
not never.
It was the craziest shit.
You spent 15
I've
months
ever
with
experienced.
TC with Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
man. It was like, and you know what? I don't regret a single moment of it, man. Because I made friends I'll have the rest of my life. I spent 5 months in Europe on someone else's dime, eating out at restaurants every night. I mean, it was great.
You had to say no to him. I think you had to walk.
I'd say no to it before they fired my ass. I said no to him. I called him and quit, and I videotaped myself when I called him up to quit.
Because you guys were doing a script together for Mission Impossible.
We were doing Mission Impossible 3, and I thought we had a really great script 15 months earlier, and I just thought we kind of squandered that time. But I know, man, he was doing Last Samurai and Collateral, and he was doing all these other movies, and I just felt like at some point, and I told him when I called him, and I said when I say I was going to quit, I mean I thought I was going to get fired a week later. So I was like, it was like inviting somebody out in the street to have a gunfight, and you just shoot the fucker in the bar. Yeah, that's all I did. We were going to have the gunfight, and I was.
But you wanted to do it on your terms.
I wanted to do it on my terms. And I
So
thought,
did you call him and you were like, "What's up,
I was
TC?
like, oh,
How you
dude,
doing,
I look
bud?"
like such a ponce now. When I've watched it one time. I look like such a jerk.
Oh, you filmed yourself like selfie,
yes.
"What's up, TC? How
I
you
didn't
doing,
sound
bro?"
like me. Yeah, man. Listen, and I was like, I said to him, "It's your name on the poster. It's your face on the poster. It's your movie. You got to do it the way you want it done. It ain't gonna work for me." So I had all this.
He was
kind
cool
of energy.
about it?
Yeah, man. Because they hired J.J. Abrams like 2 weeks later, or whatever. No, he went off to do War of the Worlds. Like I quit. I went to Mexico to start writing a Pablo Escobar thing, and he was on War of the Worlds like within 2 weeks. I mean,
He's very
Did he even
detailed.
skip a beat, or was he like, "Yeah, cool, man"? Click.
bro, it was like, and we were in Germany. I was in Berlin, and it was like, no, it was like, dude, he's a pro. He had the machine around that guy doesn't stop. Like it just keeps churning.
Todd Phillips, when he did The Men, I did a reading with Tom Cruise, and we were going to do the movie, and he worked with him for about a year. But when he makes a decision to do a movie, obviously, an entire, like you said, machinery.
Bro, it's the
moves.
Gears of War.
It's the Gears of War.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Now,
literally
when you-
an
when you did
industry
a-
you've never
moves
seen
in
anything
that
like it,
direction.
bro.
When
I
you
don't
did a
care.
read with him, when you walked in the door, he was like, "Kiss my hand."
No, he was so cool to
No,
me.
he's great,
It was
dude.
ridiculous.
He'd know Bryan's name. He'd know your name.
He sent me a
would
fruit
know-
basket. I mean, he sent
Yeah.
me literally, thank you for your time and talent, Tom. I saw him
Get a fruit
6
basket
months
for a
later at
man.
a party. We talked for
Sounds
an
like
hour
some
and a
Bill
half.
Cosby shit.
We spent an hour and a half at a party. I was like, maybe we're friends. And of course, I was so
Never heard
excited.
from him again?
I was so excited to be friends with him. I was actually very
Dude, you take
starstruck.
the most famous person you've ever been around. It's nothing compared to being around.
It just isn't.
It just
You know,
isn't, dude.
I was at a party, at SB party for the ESPYs, and I walked in this room and there's celebrities everywhere, and he's the only guy I've ever done this where I was like, "Oh shit, Tom Cruise." Ever.
Tom Cruise is here.
I had to go to the bathroom. I had to cut through, and he was like talking to someone. And I had to cut through him. I didn't, because he's short. I really didn't recognize him. I walked, and just out of the corner of my eye, I see him. I'm like, "Oh shit, Tom Cruise."
Tom Cruise.
And I was embarrassed. I was like, "Oh shit," and then just kept going to the bathroom.
No, dude,
He's the
he's-
only guy I've
he's-
ever
yeah.
done that in my life.
Yeah, the only guy. Well, I wasn't even like that with him. Although, but I remember Tony Scott brought Denzel into my office one day, and I'm a huge Denzel fan, and that was a bit of like stumble bum, like, "Oh, hey, D, how are you?" I mean, it was, but I was a little. I got fucking verklempt. I was a little like choke. I was like,
Is there anybody you've ever worked with where you had to get over that with, or are you more? What,
I didn't have that with Liam. I think. No, I don't have that. I have that with sports guys. Like
Yeah.
I have that. Like when I go to like the CA party, I'll see like Chris Paul. I'm like, I'll tell my wife, I'm gonna say hi to Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Like we were at the Super Bowl party. Tony Gonzalez was there. I'm a big Tony Gonzalez fan.
Heck yeah.
You know, it's like, so I get geek for guys like that. I don't get geek for actors.
Yeah.
I just think they're jerk offs.
Yeah, except for me.
Except
you
for
like
you,
my
bro.
work.
You're not an actor though, dude. You're a man. You're like the man of all seasons.
That's what I like to hear.
Right?
buddy.
Jack of all
Podcaster,
trades.
stand-up comic,
All things.
sometimes boxer, but terrible. You know that kind
All
of guy.
things to all
Blue
people,
belt in
dude.
jiu-jitsu. I got a lot of shit going for me.
Swiss Army knife, my man.
Army knife.
Couple Swiss Army
British
knives.
John Bryan. Yeah,
Back in the
Swiss
day,
Army
they called
knives.
the Renaissance man, bro. That's what you are. You are a Renaissance man, bro.
I love that I say to you, you're a great writer. You're like, it's the only thing I do well. It's the only thing I do well.
No, it does, dude. It's, I can't. I don't.
You're a
Honestly,
great director,
I think I
too.
got very lucky. I think I got very lucky directing. I still don't. When I look at stuff and I look at scripts, I think that's what's gotten me in trouble. Because I'll look at a script and go, yeah, this is great. This should change. This should change. And sometimes you have to. I realize now it's like, just shut the fuck up and do what they want. Listen, I can air this publicly. I don't care. I wasn't this Blacklist Super Bowl episode. I'm glad 35 million people saw it. You know, whatever.
You
But,
wrote
like,
it.
No, I wrote a big chunk of it. And we had a little bit of set two about it. Me and the producers. And I thought, we had words in New York, and I was like, listen, I want to go home. I don't know how to do this. And it's the one time my wife literally said to me, shut up, treat it like a commercial, just make it visual, and do your thing. And it was the only time in my career, the writer in me, I just sent down the road. I'm like, goodbye.
Okay, I don't think people realize how tough it is to make it in this business being a director or writer.
Oh, it's really
how many would you say make it? Because they say less than 1% of actors.
Brendan, I can tell you there are guys, I can tell you they're friends of mine that I think are far more talented than I am in this game. And for whatever reason, they don't possess that thing. Listen, I don't possess it as much as somebody like Ratner. Brett's got that thing where it's like, he just knows how to move, dude. He just knows how to
But you're a better writer-director than
Well, but here's the thing.
He's not a writer either.
He's not, but no, Brett's not a writer, but but what he is, dude, is a brilliant hustler. It's like, that guy could sell ice to the Eskimos. He's just a guy that knows how to, and I think part of it
is about being in the right place at the right time, being lucky.
Dude, not being so, I think I was precious for a lot of years. Like, I don't want to do that. Listen, I turned down what became Criminal Minds, and I turned down what became Cold Case. We could be doing this podcast in the back of a fucking 600-foot yacht if I wasn't a douchebag 10 years ago. But I was.
Those are some big ones.
Those are some big ones.
Those
right?
are big ones. That's a tough pill to swallow.
That's a tough pill, but
yeah,
I think the Blacklist
kind of going over it.
Yeah, that makes up for it because I understand that is, for me, that was.
Well, you directed the pilot of the
Blacklist,
Blacklist, which means you get money every time it airs.
So when it goes on the run, it's hopefully going to go on, and it reaches 100 episodes. It's like that's mailbox money for the rest of my life, which is great.
But but
it's hard, dude. It's like it's not. It's a brutal, ugly.
So what would you say for kids, coming out of USC or all
write a comic book, baby.
Comic book,
write a comic book, man.
Marvel.
Get in the Marvel
hopefully
business. Marvel's doing it better. It's almost like Feige went to school on what not to do in the big studio system and crafted those Marvel films. Like, dude, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and you see these big kind of epic space visuals, and they're playing Rupert Holmes' Pina Colada. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off. It's like
that movie
do the
did
things.
Nothing for me, by the way.
Dude, but you know what? I enjoyed it.
But I love
it's Star Wars, bro. It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars with like
a raccoon instead
twist.
of Chewbacca.
Yeah, there you go.
But I think I just read an article in Grantland. 200 films between now and 2020 are comic book, franchise, no original films. Wow. 200 of them. 38 or 39 or 40 of them are Marvel films. And there's the DC films. I mean, they're saying Aquaman's going to be.
Is that why it's so hard to get? Is that why it's so hard to get a movie made now? There's no longer that independent. Nobody's making money.
And I don't want to make.
But this fad's going to go away, right?
I don't know,
this comic book fad's going to go away.
I mean, listen. Here's what we're never going to get back to. We're never going to get back to the day and age. Like if I went to Sony Pictures right now and said, "I got this great idea. There's a psychotic cab driver who saves his 12-year-old hooker and redeems her." That film won the Palme d'Or in was nominated for Best Picture.
Great movie.
That shit ain't going to happen anymore. You're never going to get Will Smith isn't going to remake Taxi Driver.
Huge shame.
Listen,
that's a shame.
I wrote a version of Death Wish set in L.A. It's the best thing I've ever written. Hands down, it's the best script I've ever written. And I got in a very public blowout where I sent a very ugly letter to the head of MGM calling him some very choice things that got reprinted. Now, we and I are since completely cool. And he also admitted as much because he took my letter and framed it and hung it on his wall. It was so choice.
God bless him.
Right? But that script, I know how great it is. I also know how at page 27, when the protagonist gets attacked and his wife and daughters are being mauled upstairs and you never see what's going on, the entire script shifts to first person. Matt Damon wrote me a 3-page love letter email saying, "This is one of the best things I've ever written. Here are the reasons why I can't do it. I can't build up like a psychic firewall thick enough to keep me from taking this home to my kids," which is lovely praise for the script, but it ain't going to get made. That rate, it's like, fuck you,
Bro,
it's not Iron Man.
You need to throw some Daredevil in there.
No shit, dude.
But Joe, you've for all intents and purposes, you've made it. As far as like you've reached the pinnacle of what it would be to be a writer-director.
I'm happy, dude, with where I am.
What drives? What continues to drive you? The idea that you have more stories in your
dude.
In your
what
mind?
continues to drive me is like this. So here's the great thing about doing what we do in this regard is that unlike an athlete where you go, Tom Brady's got another year left. He's 38, even though he's playing ball at high level, it's like, I'm 45 years old. I'm better than I was when I was 35, when I was 25. So it allows you to grow. And I don't listen, if somebody likes something you did, if somebody loves the gray, you love smoking, I'm very flattered by that. That doesn't power the moment for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't sit there and go,
you want to see
I'm
what
going
else
to go
is
dine out on that. It doesn't.
You want to see what else is inside of you.
It doesn't matter to me, but like, it doesn't matter to me in the way that
like what's next?
What's next? I always feel like I've yet to do the thing that I'm really going to do.
There's a lot more in you that you want to get out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's to me, that's much more interesting than just kind of sitting back on your laurels and saying, yeah, that's, I did this and I'm quite happy. And
I just like to say that I know the answer. There's this idea that, with younger people where I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be fine. Or I'm going to do this and there's going to be a moment of stasis.
Wrong.
It just doesn't exist. There's no getting there.
There's too much competition. Listen, I tell my kid has professed this desire to go into the same business. And I said, dude, you're going to have to work 1,000 times harder because the narrative on you will always be as old man, cut him to the front of the line. So you have to decide. He's 17. You have to determine now how hard you want to work and how hard you think you should work fucking harder, because it's not, because I'm telling you the level of competition is so high and the saturation is so big.
Let's be honest, you're not getting anywhere without really hard work, any daily attendance,
right,
and constantly trying to get better at something.
Unless your dad's famous as shit like this guy, your son's gonna
or
be
unless you're taking steroids and you're famous.
Even then,
yeah,
that's who you know too. But if you have a work ethic,
you gotta have all I'm saying is gotta have a work ethic.
I mean, I know a lot of
there are a lot of people that know people.
Don Swayze didn't have Patrick Swayze's career,
and I'm
right?
friends with Don. I'm friends with Don,
right?
And Don worked hard, and Don, Don's a really good actor. I've done.
Dude, he did that thing in the bridge. I thought he was fantastic.
He's great, but you're right.
But
you're right. I mean, talk to Frank Stallone. Talk to there are a lot of people like
that.
Dude,
look at Grillo. Grillo's pushing. Grillo's 50 years old. Frank is having the moment that he's having because we realize there's a total dearth, absence of men acting in films, and if they are, they're Australian or they're English.
Goddamn right.
Why is that?
God bless Frank Grillo.
Why is that? Why are so many stars from?
I don't know, because I think their acting programs are better. I think they're more. I think they don't go in. I think they go in for the craft first and foremost. They don't go in to be famous.
There's also something really, really sort of mysterious about someone who walks in like this.
Yes, exactly,
But
dude.
then he can do a New York,
right? Then he can do right.
Jeez, that guy's like really.
He's amazing.
So they usually give them the part.
Bro, it's the Anglophiles in us. We're all so fucking still like blown away by the British. You know what I mean? We can't get rid of that ancestral thing where it's like we broke away from you. It's like
you feel a little less than.
Yeah, you're less. Fuck you.
I went. This is embarrassing. My buddy made $1 billion. He takes me to the countryside of England, and I went pheasant hunting. I had to wear an outfit. I had to wear knickers.
Yeah.
I had to wear a jacket with a tie, and I had a loader. I had a large gentleman who would load my shotgun. They would have dogs flush the bush. Ducks would fly overhead. Pheasant, you just shoot them out of the. I think I killed 13 ducks or something crazy. Just shoot in the air. It doesn't matter. You get them. And I was around these blue bloods, these British blue bloods. One guy had rowed for the Olympic team, and the rest of them were. One guy had a cane and a scarf like around his neck, like
Sounds
a cravat,
awesome.
Like an ascot,
and he was 35. And I remember just. But dude,
awesome.
They were not only were they so educated, they were actually so witty in a British way.
Yeah, it's dry and droll.
Oh my god, and just incredibly, just really, 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 and it was so cold. My hands are rather fresh. Anyone else? And they were so witty and just it was this language that I didn't speak. Well, I've never felt sort of smaller and more of a pauper.
Did you start trying to talk like them?
Not even.
Not
I was
even.
Just a pauper. I
just didn't say a word.
I was quiet and a pauper, and they were all straight up alcoholics. By the way, drinking slow gin, shots of slow gin at 7:30 in the morning.
Bro, you're dealing with some heavy. Dude, you're dealing with some serious alcohol.
Never seen anything like it.
Function, like real, legit, drunk most of the time, and get everything done.
Never seen anything
get
like
everything to make every appointment, make every meeting, get everything done.
Oh, and by the way, when you're in the upper class in Britain, you go away to school, you go away to boarding school at 6 and 7.
You're gone.
See you later at 6 and 7.
Dude, my wife's Scottish, and I was getting this
miserable.
argument with her because it's like she always has that kind of this, again, the upper crust, but it's like, well, the Brits just simply do it better. The Brits do it better. And I'd be like, yeah, but Blackadder sucks. So does all those jerk off shows you think they're not funny. I'm sorry, any Three's Company episode is better than any fucking Blackadder.
I'll put Three's Company. It's funny you say Blackadder. I remember I watched a couple of those. I was like, what the fuck is the big deal with Blackadder?
By the way, Faulty Towers isn't that funny either. I'm sorry, And Monty Python has its moments.
Well, they were on steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's move on. We got current events. Let's move to some current events here. Current events with Evan the Beard.
Let's do it, boys. Brian, I'm pretty stoked about these ones because I feel like you'll actually know all of these. Usually they're a little skewed towards Brendan's side of the fence.
All right.
Usually, I hope so.
I hope so.
I hope so, man.
All right, so let's jump into the first one. How about Bryan Williams admitting to lying for years about being hit by an RPG in a helicopter in Iraq?
Did you hear about this?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What?
So Bryan Williams.
I heard the chopper story, but that's
you heard
what
the
it
chopper
is?
story? He had to come out and apologize because these people who were. So this is what happened. The real story is he was out there and he was on the chopper behind the one that got hit, and then they landed. So he lied and said he was on the chopper, got shot down. They had to come save him. No.
Didn't he also lie about being the understudy for his daughter on Peter Pan? Wasn't he also?
So yeah, but
He's not just like 100 yards behind. He's an hour and a half behind.
yeah, he's
Dude,
straight
nowhere near.
He's straight lying. Yeah, he was nowhere near the
Whoa.
chopper.
See, dude, that might cost Bryan. That's enough. That is a fireable offense.
Did you see?
Yeah,
But
of course it is.
because all these veterans came out like, bro, we were there. You weren't there.
That's
You weren't
embarrassing.
there. What the hell are you talking about? And he even went to the New York Rangers game with the guy who said he saved him, and they put this whole thing up at the
Oh,
stadium.
he's gone. He's
and
gone.
he's like
He's
this,
gone.
clapping. No, but then he goes on air like 2 nights ago, and he's all, real quick, I just want to issue an apology. I said I was on the chopper that crashed. I was actually the one behind it. Sincere apologies. And then just carries on. Like nothing happened.
And that's when I go, excuse me, we got to back up for a second. You can't just skip over that.
rewind that? Yeah.
Do you, I'm trying to think of a lie I've ever told where it was, you got to come clean. Just be like, dude, I got
by the
carried
way,
away. I lied.
they could find your ass out in a second.
Right.
You
think
can't
about
lie.
Think about these.
A
If
helicopter
Jack
getting-
Kennedy was banging Marilyn Monroe, you'd know about it the next day. Right. You'd be out. It's over.
I mean, and especially a lie that grandiose. I was on a helicopter and an RPG hit us and we crashed.
No, but he goes on Letterman. He goes on Jay Leno. He goes on his
What?
show.
Fire
He tells
him.
his story.
Oh, he's got to go,
He
man.
tells his
I
story.
like Bryan
He's been
Williams,
doing
you
this
got to
for
go, bro.
years.
Yeah, this
He's been
isn't.
telling the story for years.
Yeah, he's told this story for like 3 years.
Because everything that comes out of his mouth now is like, to quote that Bill Hicks thing, is like a turd in the punch bowl. It's like everything he says is suspect.
Like when they were talking about the American Sniper, he's like, I have a very small understanding of what happens when you're at war. When my chopper got shot down,
I was at the Four
It
Seasons and they
never
ran out of
happened.
blueberry tart.
It never happened.
It was.
Yeah. I've taken extensive fire myself.
I put my teeth at risk for cavity.
I flew over an area that could have been Lithuania years ago, and it was terrifying.
It looked that way.
I once Googled ISIS. I was terrified.
I didn't wear my
I know
seatbelt.
exactly what he means.
I forgot to take my vitamins this morning.
I mean,
How crazy is this?
How is that a salvageable situation for you professionally?
It's not. You're a liar. You can't be my friend anymore.
can't believe anything
There's
you
something
say.
where
By the
you're
way,
like, oh, you're not my friend anymore.
way to serve that up to the real neocon right wingers that really want. Way to just put that one on a platter, man. It's
Oh, my
like,
God.
wow, like you just gave him everything that he's gonna get they're gonna call for his head. I mean, they're gonna.
You should have seen him at the New York Rangers game. This is recent too. They put him on the big screen. And he's like this, standing up, like, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have like the little Laurel
With
like Caesar
with like
a little thing?
with
He's
like tears in his eyes. Like, I made it. I'm still
Wow.
here. I made it. How
They're
can
playing
you do
fanfare
that?
for the common man. He's like up there, like
You know what? What a dick.
what a
dick. Exactly.
He's got a mini Olympic torch right there. He's lighting it. He's smoking a stove. It's like, geez.
Joe
I bet
Carnahan.
he- I
Joe
bet he
Carnahan
came
just
home.
gave me. Now that we have every week we may have a what a dick
What a dick
moment.
moment?
Yeah.
What a dick.
What a dick. Our dick of the week. What
Yeah.
a dick.
Later, dick.
Bryan Williams. What a dick.
How about I bet he came home. I bet he told his wife and kids that exact story on how he's a hero now, war hero.
Dude.
And then he probably came home after admitting he lied, and his wife's like, "What the fuck?
What are you
His
doing?"
kid's all, Dad.
I don't even lie
It's
about
probably how the
fights
same
I've
way
been in.
Anderson Silva's kids feel when he came home after this
Next-
failed test.
next-
They're all, what the fuck, man? Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, because his daughter's a fairly well-known actress at this point too. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
so does she now?
If I
she's
do
probably
something
gonna-
I label them all liars. How about
Oh.
that? The whole
Out with the
family.
The whole goddamn family are liars.
out with the family. All right, next.
Off with their heads.
They're all done.
What a dick.
All right, next one, next current event. See this picture right here? Do you see this, guys?
Oh, my God.
For everybody listening, the background on this.
Come on, I
picture
gotta
just
see
showed
that
there
again,
is-
please. Don't
Dude,
just.
you haven't seen this?
No, this is
the girl.
great.
Did the girl use it on Tinder?
Just
Is that
fuck
what she did?
Edelman. No
And look at
lie.
who homeboy's out in the background.
Girl has sex with Julian Edelman on the night of the Super Bowl.
What a C word.
Snakes a picture when he's sleeping, which is creepy as shit.
Chicken heads, man.
And
Is he
puts
married
and
or
puts
does
it
he
on
have a-
Tinder.
is he-
No,
oh,
he's
Single.
not.
He's
Okay.
single. You know what
But
the problem
that's
is? You know what the
messed up.
problem is? She's not hot.
She's not hot.
She's not
She's
hot
a
at
whore.
all.
I mean, sorry, you're a whore. honey.
You're a whore.
You're a disgusting whore.
Straight up, you're a whore.
I'm afraid you're a
That's
whore.
someone's daughter.
You're a whore. I mean, you really got to lean
Straight
into
up.
it, dude.
Fortunately, you're a whore.
Whore.
Hey, by the way,
Straight up.
a new award. What a whore.
What a whore. What a dick and what a
What a
whore.
dick and what a whore.
I mean, first of all, the thing about Jason Edelman,
It's a good picture, by the way.
Julian
Edelman, the thing about Julian Edelman is it would do more for him if she was like extremely hot. Like when Gronkowski, when the porn star had his jersey on, he's like behind her. It's like, oh, that's awesome. That looks like a good time.
But you know Gronk's going to do that. That's what he's going to do.
That's what we
how he
want out of
parties.
Gronk.
Right.
Out of Julian Edelman, when a solid 4 snaps a picture, you taking a nap after you win the Super Bowl, it's like, oh
I
man.
don't know. She's a 4. We only see half her face.
And what does she
Nope,
think? What
I
is
looked
she,
into it, Brian.
No, dude,
She's a
did-
4.
oh, you did?
She, but by the way,
This
she's
has
on.
been out for a
It's
while.
like I mean, he bangs some bar skank, and she's taking a picture, and then going into her little title thing and putting just fucked Edelman, no lie.
And then did she tweet it?
What do her friends
Yes!
think?
Put it on
Come on,
yes!
honey, you
That she
can't
blew
do
up the
that.
spot real bad.
How about her friends are like, cool, Julie? Like, all right.
kind of a good
Sweet-
picture, though.
Sweet Saturday night.
And if I'm Edelman, I'm like, boil it. I go to the doctor the next day and go, boil
For
it.
sure.
Literally render it down. I want it vacuum packed for a month.
You
okay?
got mad cow disease on your dick now. If a girl's willing to take
Boil
a
it.
picture and
Dude,
say
he
I
has
fucked
the black,
you,
he has
you
the
got-
black plague. He doesn't
Yeah.
even know how he got it.
You,
right?
you got more issues than just a Tinder picture. You know what I'm saying?
That's quite an icebreaker to be using.
Love it.
Jeez.
Next
The-
current event,
Some bigwig in Boston, as far as the local club scene, put her on blast and basically blacklisted her from every club in Boston.
Oh, Julian Edelman can't do no
She's
wrong.
getting eviscerated.
Yeah, she's getting
online.
destroyed.
By the way, Edelman
do
almost
that.
got MVP. I thought Edelman.
I think
thought-
he should have.
I thought. Yeah,
I
thought
think
he
he
was.
should have.
You know, I thought he was. I mean, it was amazing. And for that, it's like that's your heroic. That's your homecoming. Some
At
skank
least
like.
he looks peaceful, quiet. He looks kind of cute.
At least he's
sleeping.
resting. You know, at least it's not
His
like.
beard looks like
At
well.
least it's not
well
like
put
a
together.
At least it's not like a dick pic where he has a small.
Dude, it's not
dick
the
or
Brett,
something
but
like
it's
that.
not the Brett Favre picture where you can see the championship
Oh,
ring and the $50,000
dude.
watch.
And some-
Brett,
and
maybe
some
two
bullshit-
things we may want to remove.
Yeah.
We're gonna send penile
And by the way-
snapshots.
And those shitty Crocs. He has the
yeah,
Crocs
he's got
on.
bad, like,
the
Leslie
shitty Crocs.
back there. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, dude.
It was also kind of soft and small. I'm like,
He's like, get a look at this Packer. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
but dude, that was so. It's like, come
The
on.
dead
He's
baby
all, that's
bird.
not me. How dare you? It's like, well, no, that's
yeah,
obviously
dude, I
your
see
ring and watch.
97
Yeah.
Super Bowl ring.
your dead baby bird.
What do you
All
think?
Is that ever something you're worried about, Brendan?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you have a girlfriend now, so you don't have to worry about that.
Obviously now it'd be a little bit of heat.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was single, I had girls take pictures of me, and they would show me. I'm like, well, for sure, don't post that. And they never did. I mean,
They're out there though, dude.
They're
I
out-
got there.
they're
There
out
are
there.
naked
They're out
pictures
there
of
for
me.
sure.
There are naked pictures of me doing things. We'll talk about it off the air. And they're out there. And
I
they're
feel
out
like
there, but
Brian
it was
wants them to
It
come
was
out.
done when I was
do.
single.
I feel like
don't
Brian
care.
wants them to
You
come
do,
I was
bro.
single and I don't care.
Who cares?
Yeah, now I'd be in some
But I'm in
heat.
some compromising positions where, yeah. Anyway,
I've never sent a pic where if
My-
it got out where I wouldn't be like,
my wife listens to this podcast, so I'm not gonna, get into detail. I'll tell her later.
Later.
We'll get into two
She
vivid
knows. She knows
details
my
for you.
past. She knows my past. All right.
All right, last one. Kind of want to get your opinion on this, Brian, because I know you're a big reader.
Yeah.
So Harper Lee.
Harper Lee.
Harper Lee
New novel
is coming out
surfaced.
with a new novel, Brendan.
old
She
is
wrote
she?
She's
To
100
Catch a
years
Mo-
old,
To
I
Kill a
believe.
Mockingbird.
No.
oh yeah,
Little thing you might have heard of that.
we have to read that bullshit in school.
No, Harper Lee's 88 or something now.
And she just wrote a new
Boo
book.
Radley. Yeah, she just.
Oh,
wrote
I
a
bet
new
it's
book.
fascinating.
Well, she didn't just write it. She actually wrote it in the 50s.
It's actually called Chinese Democracy.
That's a Guns N' Roses joke, Brendan.
Brendan didn't get it. Brendan didn't get it.
I thought it was great.
I like that you laughed though. At least
Yeah,
you
that
laughed.
was great. Thanks for
Yeah, no problem, bro.
No, thank you. Well,
Wait,
we're-
so
we're
she wrote a
educated.
book. What's the
Crazy
book
fucking
about?
fighter.
What's the book about?
It's a sequel. It's supposed to act as a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. The problem is she wrote the book like 50 years ago. The only thing, first of all, the only book she ever wrote and released was To Kill a Mockingbird. It's probably made $1 gazillion off that one book. And that was all she did in her
one
career.
of the, yeah.
Was that her only?
The only one she ever wrote. And
She only
just-
published To Kill a Mockingbird, and kind of said to herself, "I don't need to write another book. I've done it."
Oh, so she's a quitter. That's what I call
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Or
She's
she
a
just,
quitter.
or she said everything she wanted to say, and
Or
didn't
she
think
waited
could
till she
top
was
her
90
effort.
and nobody could beat up on her if the book sucks.
That's true.
Right?
She is, and she is 88, I think now. maybe even older.
I hope in the book she's using like old school terms from the 40s
She's
and 50s.
blind.
That doesn't make sense to now. She's just super racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just crazy
It's like 50
racist.
Shades of Silver. She's just like doing all this dirty. It's
Just
dirty old man.
dirty.
Like,
50
whoa.
Shades of Silver.
Whoa. 50 Shades of Centrum.
Easy,
You know.
yeah. Well, she's blind. She's blind now, and she can't.
The point is, she's like
hear.
senile. Pretty
she
much
really?
At this
Yeah,
point,
she's not senile. Her brain works perfectly, but she can't see or hear very well. So she's really old.
So the book's about Johnny
She
the
lives in
talking
assisted
booger.
living,
Like it's
yeah.
What is the book about?
yeah, they say it's good.
I don't know what the book's about. I haven't read the
Wait,
damn
does
book.
she
It's
really?
not-
No,
it's
I
not
don't
out.
want to joke about that. That's fucked up. Does she really have a like dementia?
No, she doesn't have dementia, but
Just-
she can't see. She's
she can't
blind.
see.
and
She's
she has-
100
But she's still in the game.
She
in terms
is still
of,
in the game. Her lawyer, who is her lawyer
define
up
in the
in-
game.
Her lawyer.
Define
her
Fine in the
lawyer-
game.
What's in the game?
What's in the game to you?
Her
Like
lawyer
shitting
who-
her pants every
No,
morning? Yeah,
yeah,
she's
her,
in the game.
Her lawyer who represented her, for a long time, and finally sort of brokered the deal to release the novel, is 100 years old, and just
Well, it's
now,
her sister.
It's her sister.
Her sister passed away a
Yep.
couple years ago, and now all of a sudden,
Yeah, and
the long hidden sequels coming out, which seems sketchy as shit.
Can you
It
imagine?
does seem a little
My
sketchy,
lawyer's
It
doesn't
seems
100
really
years
sketchy.
old.
Like
She-
why?
she
Like
never
it
wanted
does
to
seem a
release
little
it,
like
and
it's
then
like
her lawyer
Yeah.
/ sister dies, and now it's coming out.
Well, they talked about that too, and there's no
It
real.
feels like-
Can someone refresh my memory on To Kill a Mockingbird? I've read it, but I don't remember it. Can someone just give me the
Atticus
kind
That's
of...
how everybody feels about that. in a
Boo
way.
Radley.
But it was a great movie.
Oh, I remember Boo Radley.
Robert Duvall played Boo Radley.
Yes,
in
he
the
did.
movie.
Well,
Thank
what
you.
exactly?
What was
Someone
the girl's
just
name?
break
Scout?
it down
What was
for
her
me.
name? What was her name?
In the South,
Murder.
black people
Blamed
murdered.
it on Blue
Black
Radley.
black girl gets murdered. Blame it on, or white girl gets murdered. Blame it on black guy Boo Radley. Big court battle. Atticus Finch reigns supreme.
Great movie.
Gregory Peck.
Great movie.
Real
Gregory
good
Peck is
movie,
amazing.
real
in
good
that.
book.
Yeah.
And it's just about justice, and where justice was not practiced so often in the Deep South.
I just
And it was,
feel like there could be something better to read for kids in school. I just
Oh
feel
no,
like-
you're wrong about that. But
I
thank
just-
you.
I
Please
feel
don't.
like Boo Radley.
Since you're not a
I
reader-
just feel like we could move
Yeah,
on
since
now.
you're not
I
a
just feel like
reader,
we could move
like,
on.
move on from Shakespeare too, right? People like you.
No, I didn't
like
say
the
that. I
Guccione,
didn't
like
say
Penthouse, the Penthouse letters. Like let kids get
I
into
mean,
that.
something. Let's
Yeah.
just kind
No,
of.
listen. I think there are some. Listen, I always thought that Salinger was a little precious. I was not.
agree
I
with
was
you
not
on
a
that.
big catcher in the rye. I thought. Listen, I dug the. But I thought it got elevated to this like.
What about Great
agree.
Gatsby, the rich guy?
No, I think Fitzgerald wrote 29. Wrote a fucking brilliant book. You read that book and you go, "This guy was 29 years old when he
29 years
fucking
old.
wrote this book. Fuck me. I don't know what I'm doing." That was kind of sick.
like Faulkner.
And I love I love their stories about Fitzgerald because Zelda Fitzgerald, his wife, was so nuts. He would take Hemingway into a bathroom and show him his dick and go, "Do I seem like I'm okay size wise? Zelda's always saying I'm too small." And fucking Papa's going, "You look fine to me."
Zelda was the one who was so jealous of him.
Yeah.
Because she was, I guess, a writer as well.
Yeah.
And man, I remember trying to be. I thought I had a fleeting moment as a kid. I was probably in college, and I thought I'm going to be a novelist because I had read A Movable Feast by Hemingway.
Dude,
and I
Hemingway
read.
does it to everybody.
And I read
that.
Faulkner. I read Sound and the Fury, and I went. And after I read it, I
Sound
went
and
like this.
Fury's
I go
amazing.
like this. I go, I'm not. Oh, I'll never be a writer. Oh, first of all, I have no business even saying I'm a writer. There's greatness. I'll never touch that,
Yeah.
and I just never decided to.
Dude, it's like who's the guy that we could talk about novelists to live a long day, but who's the goddamn the guy that killed himself, the guy that hung himself that wrote
I
the
know what
Confederacy
you're
of
talking
Dunces.
not
right?
Confederacy Dunces. No. Fuck, dude.
David Foster Wallace.
David Foster Wallace.
Yeah, what a writer.
Look at Brandon. Like,
What a writer.
You read that guy and you go, I'm good.
I'm done.
I'm good.
Even his essays you read and you're done.
They're brilliant. He wrote a book called A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again.
Great book. Read it.
Great book.
Read it about being on a cruise.
Being on a cruise ship.
guys, our audience wouldn't.
Just checked
We
out.
just lost about
Brent-
50,000.
Brendan's like whatever.
Brendan
But the
better
point
check
is,
out more.
Hey, I get an
He's like,
idea.
fuck these fairies.
Hey, no, I get an idea for you guys. Fuck these fairies. I got an idea. Hey, how about you guys get together on Monday nights for a book club?
Let's do it.
And don't
Brian,
come
we'll
on
do a
my
podcast
show.
where we just talk. We do much lower tones.
Father and Kid Book Club.
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
Brian Callen and Joe Carnahan. This is book. This is book.
Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections.
It's
like, dude, it sounds
you know,
like
Joe. I'm
Terry
glad.
Gross
I'm glad.
and
I'm
fresh
glad
air.
you brought this up. I was literally riveted. I felt like my guts were torn asunder.
Brian goes,
Torn
after I
asunder.
read The Great Gatsby, I realized I wanted to be
Now
a
wait,
writer.
I will give Brendan
wept.
one great book, brother. You must read. You have to read Dickey's Deliverance. You
I
have to
will
read the
check
book
that out.
version of Deliverance. Grillo gave me that book, dude. That's a book you'd fucking.
How about the
love.
Pugilist at Rest? That's what you
Again,
should
this book club, you guys, Monday night,
Let's wrap.
you meet at
Wrapping book
Starbucks.
club. Sorry.
Wrapping it up.
You meet at Starbucks.
We gotta go. I gotta go do a voiceover
we got
for
book
Disney.
club.
The show's not wrapped, just
Yeah,
book club.
just
Fan
the book
questions.
club.
Fan questions.
How about Bryan?
I'm sorry, listeners. I'm so sorry.
Trying to wrap the whole show
I
instead of
literally,
just book
I
club.
literally am getting
Jesus.
paid to go do a voiceover for Disney, and I'm running late. Let's go. That's
Well,
what you
that's
got.
what
here
happens
half
when
an
you
hour
run
late.
20
I don't know
minutes
what
late
you're
to the
talking
show
about.
yourself.
Don't know what you're talking about. Keep going.
You gotta get to
20
Burbank,
minutes
dude?
behind.
No, you don't have to get to Burbank.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
Okay. This is a perfect question to bring Brendan.
If it's about another book, I'm gonna break this mic.
It's not. This is from Rurudo, which I think is a Billy Madison reference. Who would you want on the real world?
Rizzuto?
I'm sorry, Rurudo? Those are Z's.
He's on. They don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah! Who's out of the club now? Book club that,
Me and
bitches.
Carnahan are like,
All right, carry on. Rurudo? Rock. R-O-C-K. All right, carry on.
Okay. The C is silent.
R-O-C-K. All right, go.
All right. Who would you want on the real world with you? And then, little follow-up. Who would be, if you were on this season, who's your skeleton?
Ah, that's a great question.
Also, fire episode this week.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
The real world skeleton.
See, I just checked out.
Yeah, I know. You guys are
The older guys are just
no,
like,
this
no,
is
I'm getting our audience back.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
back,
yeah,
baby.
got it,
We're
got it.
back. Clear.
Hashtag who gives a shit? But keep
Exactly.
going.
Hey,
Clear.
real clear. After the book club, clear. We're back. Big Brown's back. Listen, real world skeletons.
Real world
I'll tell you who would be my partner in crime. You're fucking batshit crazy if you don't think the kid in Big Brown would get ratings on Real World Skeletons. We
the
would
way.
kill it.
Especially my closet, on my skeletons.
What skeleton would come? For me, I can't mention names.
Come
I
on.
can't. I just can't
I want
mention
to know what
any
the hell's
names.
going on with the skeleton. I just want to.
So Real World Skeletons, you know Real World?
Yeah.
So what they do, they put 6 people in the house and they bring back skeletons like exes or people who hate them and they force them to live with them. And it is
that's
straight
brilliant.
drama.
MTV, you've done it again, you
Drama.
bastards.
You've done it
You whiny bastards, you've done it again.
TV, I can't keep up with these little kids. I tell you, Sunland Birds is
My
married.
God, you've done it again.
You done it again, Cage. I'm 75 years old. Rocky, I want to be your manager. I didn't have no manager. Please, next. Sorry.
Good God.
All right. Next one. If Joe were, this is from C. Mosner. If Joe were to direct an action movie with Brendan and Bryan, what would the story have to be?
Dude, first of all, why are you not doing that right now?
We should do it. I think
mean, at
we
least
should.
put
I think we
us
should
in
break. I think we should
something.
break. I think we should break it right now. Like break the story after.
Let's
this.
go.
Right now.
You go do your voiceover. We come
Dude,
back. We
I'm
knock it
gay
out,
but
dude.
strong as shit.
That's it, dude.
And
That's
there's
what.
just
That's
a
the
lot of-
story. It's
Brendan
like
and I stuck in a jail cell. We're about to die, and we're like, I love you, man.
No, it's a
No?
terrible movie.
What happened? Too
That's
much?
only a 30-second
then
porno.
just when you're about to say we're going there, the wall blows out and these guys come and get you.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you're-
about
But
to-
then,
yeah, and
then it's like a really tense drama between these two guys that almost went there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of action.
No,
after
the
that.
guards are like,
Not
you guys-
a lot of-
No, better yet, the guards.
we start a book club.
No,
They
the
start a book
guards. The
club.
guards are like, you guys are straight, but not anymore. Get gay now, and we're like, this is terrible.
And dude, that's the movie. The movie's called Get Gay.
Get gay.
Instead of get hard, get gay.
And you think it's about they're
about me and
trying to
Bryan
rescue
turning
Rudy
gay.
Gay, but it's not about rescuing Rudy Gay. It's not.
But there is a character named Rudy Gay in it.
Brian Callen,
Just as a
Brendan
head
Schaub.
fake.
Bro,
Get
you
gay.
are Rudy Gay, and that's the confusion. They're like, wait, Rudy Gay, and then we get Rudy Gay to do a cameo.
And the whole movie, I'm like, I'm not
it's a
gay.
whole, it's a whole like who's on first thing. They're
I'm
like,
not gay, dude. Don't call me gay. It's just my name. And I get in fist fights all the time. But then we're finally caught, and the bad guy's like, oh, you're not gay. Are
You're
you?
gonna get gay.
You're gonna get gay.
I love it.
And then
dude.
Joe
That's a trilogy,
Carnahan-
bro.
Get gay.
That's a trilogy. Get Gay is my answer right there. Get gay.
Get gay.
Yeah.
Starring Brendan, Big Brown Shaw, Bryan the Kid Callen.
Next question.
The dick meter's about to hit red
my
hot
God.
and super long.
Bro, I'm not sure what took the ratings down more, Get Gay or the book club. I don't know.
Definitely the book
This has
club.
been, you've ruined our
destroyed
podcast.
it.
Joe Carnahan's ruined our
Destroyed
podcast.
it.
Go on.
All right. Next one's from Dylan Ramirez. Who would win in a sanctioned heavyweight MMA fight, Gronk or JJ Watt?
JJ Watt.
Ooh.
I had this
Close.
exact
Watt.
same
Is that true?
argument on the over the weekend.
JJ Watt.
I
would
love that
destroy
question,
him.
though.
Well, you said Gronk because you're fucking.
I went with JJ Watt.
JJ Watt's a monster.
He's a beast.
He's
He's
way
just got
bigger.
meaner.
What
and
about
he's
cardio?
more
Gronk seems
explosive.
Gronk seems too friendly to go.
Ooh, I don't know. Because
Gronk's a beast.
Gronk
JJ
is-
Watt's just so big and explosive. Ugh.
Really?
And he just has that mean streak in him, I feel like.
JJ Watt weighs a good. Is he all of 305? Or is
He's 290.
I don't think he's cracking three.
No, I think he's like, he might be 280 to high 270s.
I'd
guy
go,
moves
yeah,
like
I'd
a
go
player.
I think he's like
270.
275.
It's sick.
That's
He
like
moves like a point
275.
guard.
That's a fight, though.
I don't think so.
No?
I think he's just too big for
Oof.
Gronk.
Gronk is how big is Gronk? 270.
All right, J.J. Watt is 6'5". For sure. Give me the weight. Come on, Wikipedia, get it together.
Get it together.
Gronk's probably 6'4", 240.
No, Gronk's taller than that. Gronk's a good 6'6".
6'6", 240.
He's
Right now.
every bit of 6'6".
240.
Okay, J.J. Watt is 290 pounds, 6'5".
Jesus.
Jesus.
290. Right?
290, dude.
another
And the
person.
guy moves like a point guard.
He's
He
a
does.
walk-on.
And Rob is 6'6", 265.
Well, you know fighting better.
I'll take Gronk. Neither one of them are gonna fight. I mean, I'll take J.J. Watt.
All right.
I like Gronk better though.
Next question.
Did you see the parade footage?
Him wiling out.
Oh, yeah. It was just...
Guzzling
expect
beer.
My
that
entire
from Gronk,
day
yeah.
yesterday was just Patriots porn.
You loved
I
it,
just
huh?
watched Patriots porn all
bless
day.
you.
Makes sense.
It was great.
Next question.
Last question. We'll wrap on this one. This one's from Justin Cleaves. This one's for you, Brendan. When are you going to have Joanna Zanella, a.k.a. Lady Schaub, on the podcast? And has Bryan Callen made a pass at her?
No, never. I'd slap the shit out of him.
That's my friend's girl. That's off limits.
I don't know. Sometime this year, 2015, we'll bring her in studio.
Oh, your mouth got all tight.
Not really. I mean,
I think this is going to be a great put
Started
Brendan on the
scratching his
spot
leg
question.
with no scratches. Like, I don't know. Hey, guess what?
it's like,
Guess what? It ain't.
do you want to bring your wife
We're not
to the,
bringing
to
girls.
the
My wife will
studio?
say, "Hey, when are you gonna give me a role in a show?" It's like, baby, you know.
My
Yeah,
wife.
it's like-
My wife is very. My wife cracks me up, really witty, really funny. Not coming on the show. So
It's
you know,
tough.
it's a tough
You
one.
don't want to
Amanda's
mix
not coming on
you
the
don't
show.
wanna
Dude.
mix those worlds.
I'm not putting my wife in a pot.
No,
You don't want to mix those worlds.
Yeah, we don't mix those worlds.
All right, Kay, the intern, what'd you learn today? We'll end on this.
That I feel really stupid because I haven't read or even heard of any of those books that
You are
guys
part of the
talking
problem, young lady.
Part of the problem.
Go to their book club Monday
Youth
nights.
today.
about. I think I read like Fahrenheit 451. Is
All right,
that
you're
a
Bradbury.
Great
That's
We were forced to. Great book.
Great
Another
book? I don't
classic.
remember anything about it. I don't even know.
Read it now if you want to
It's
get
about
some sleep.
censorship.
Yeah,
It's-
it's the temperature the paper burns.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Hey, book
listen,
club,
hey,
beat
listen,
it.
Hey, listen, the useless shit I know, we can stay here all day.
Joe Carnahan, you are a gem. You brought heat to the podcast.
Yeah, baby.
You're the man.
And,
we
thank
appreciate you, brother.
You're welcome back
I have
anytime.
to come back.
For real.
I have to crash.
I know
You
you're
gotta
busy
come
as
back.
shit.
Fun. No,
but
fuck,
I
it's
love
too much
having
fun.
you here.
It's too much fun.
All right, guys, get your Find the Kid merchandise. Find the Kid campaign shirts coming out. www.thefindthekidshop.com.
Come see me. Hold on. Come see me. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North
February
Carolina.
12th, 13th, 14th at Comedy Zone. Valentine's Day. That was kind of anticlimactic.
I bet your wife.
Valentine's Day, we'll do
appreciates
because it's North Carolina. It couldn't be.
that. Valentine's Day, everybody. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day in NC.
Bryan Callen, Valentine's Day in NC Comedy Zone. Oh, God.
That was terrible.
depressed. I'm so
This
depressed.
is the Find the Kid. We're out.